This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English, episode number 87. And I can check that this time because it's during the week and the website is working. Woohoo. Anyway, this is the second part of this expert week. On Monday, I spoke to Adriana from English with Adriana, and today I speak to Fluency MC, who is an English teacher from New York. So there's another accent for you to get used to. And he helps people learn English via hip hop. And before we get into the conversation, there's just one thing I want to say here, which is I think he is absolutely brilliant. And although rock and roll music and hip hop music are completely different, for me, the nature of rock and roll is having the freedom, the confidence to do what you want, to not follow the rules. And that is exactly what Fluency MC does. He hasn't followed the standard rules of teaching English. He's done his own thing, and it's absolutely brilliant. And it just shows you, don't be scared to not follow the crowd. Don't always follow everyone else. Do what you want. Anyway, that's my sort of motivation thing finished. I will calm down now and let you listen to the conversation. Bit like Monday, there's a little bit of a problem with the audio. Not so bad though. And as I said, it's good practice. So, happy listening. Hello, Mr. Fluency MC. Nice to have you on the show.
It's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me on.
Well, no, the pleasure is all mine. Thank you again for taking the time out. I'm a big fan of yours because you've got a very interesting method of teaching English, and also on my podcast, Rock and Roll English, I tried to do it in an alternative way, but yours is really alternative. Tell us something about your method.
Well, I guess the most important thing to say first is that the idea is not a method for teaching English so much as it's a method for practicing English, especially outside of class. And that's, what's magical about music is that, you can do it on your own to practice outside of class and then remember so much more English that then you can use in classroom activities or in your life. So it's much more about practice and how for teachers to inspire students to get that practice with my materials, and for me personally to build up a following of English learners who benefit from the approach.
Sure. So obviously you're from the States and you teach English. So how long have you been teaching English?
This is my 20th year. I started teaching 1998 in New York. And most of my classroom experience, almost all of my classroom experience has been in New York City. I'm doing some classroom teaching here in universities in France, where I'm based now. But I mainly do student workshops, shows for kids with my music here.
Sure. And you obviously chose hip hop to deliver this method. Why hip hop?
Well, like most language teachers, I recognized how important music is, how magical it is really for remembering grammar structures, vocabulary, pronunciation features, and the practice you get through music. And we all love music. However, music in textbooks for the high school and university students I had usually were not appealing. Hip hop is an international phenomenon. Any country in the world, you have breakdancing, rapping, DJing, graffiti. So it was something my students could all relate to, especially being in New York, where hip hop began. But really, the first reason was I grew up with this culture of DJing, and I can't sing. I wasn't an MC, but because I was a DJ, I hung out with MCs, with rappers. And then I also recognized that hip hop, unlike more melodic pop music, the rhythm is much closer to authentic conversation rhythm in English.
Absolutely.
And those stress patterns are so unusual for so many people learning English when their language is more syllable time, not stress time, and also rhyme, which you can find in pop music, is not as much of a feature obviously, as it is in hip hop. So it's kind of like, on steroids or something, like with rhythm and rhyme. But I should point out too that I had used hip hop songs in the classroom, but more about the culture that you can learn from, because actually the English in hip hop is special to hip hop. It's more dialect. It's not general English.
Absolutely.
So that's when I decided to start writing songs with the grammar structures, vocabulary, pronunciation features my students really needed to practice and they lacked. And then they could come to class with that language ready to go for activities. So it wasn't that we were rapping in class, which is what most people think that I usually do.
Right, okay.
It was more, I put songs on CDs that I made, and then it was like a flipped classroom kind of thing. And then they do that outside class and come to class. And that's still the idea behind what I do, to try to get people that practice so that they can do more with English in activities or in their lives.
Oh, right. Interesting. Yeah, because I think it's really important because it helps them acquire the language. Because I saw one of your videos of irregular verbs, and you actually say in the video about students don't learn verbs if you just give them a table to learn, but including in that song with like the rhymes must really help them. But I would love to see a class. So you said that they go home, they practice this, and then they come back. But is there any singing in the class? Because I would love to see just a bunch of children from, I don't know, France, just rapping one of your songs.
Well, I've got tons of videos of that. I mean, when I do workshops, I usually have, between 100 and 300 kids at the same time.
Wow.
And the idea is, 90 minutes of getting them, either introducing my stuff to them, or sometimes they already know my songs. It depends. But the point is they leave feeling, hopefully feeling, more confident, like they understood it more, and they want to watch the video again, So
Sure.
it's more of a demo to get them hooked, so that when they're outside class, they're watching the videos and they're practicing with the songs. But yeah, I have lots of live videos, especially if you follow me on Instagram, you can see me in different countries. In England, in Italy, in France, and 20 countries now where I've done Rhyme on Time. Rhyme on Time is the name of the workshop.
Yeah, I saw the name of the workshop, Rhyme on Time. So I've seen you have lots of free material as well on your website. So how does that work? People download the songs, learn the songs. Tell us a bit about it.
Well, I have a program called the Weekly English Workout, which is a paid program people can join. I don't really have songs available for free, but I don't really need to because people get them off YouTube. So, so I don't really sell the songs. I'm thinking about making some kind of set up something on my website. The problem is, for me, the balance between doing work off the internet and work on the internet is a little tricky. So I devote much more of my time to the work I'm doing in schools. So I haven't really set things up enough.
I understand you perfectly on that. I work in a school, and there's so many things I want to do on the website, but I never have time.
Right.
But obviously, whilst you're here, I would like to obviously take this opportunity just to show people firsthand what you do. So I was wondering if you could, maybe do the song about irregular verbs or phrasal verbs.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, the most popular song that I do is the irregular verb song. It's called Stick, Stuck, Stuck, and I could just do a little bit of that one and then a little bit of a couple songs, a few songs.
Sure, absolutely. Well, because irregular verbs, people have a lot of difficulty with that. Even higher level students, I could tell you the verbs, things like choose, stick, I imagine, seek, things like this. They will always have difficulty with it. So please, we are all ears.
Okay. Well, before I do, let me just mention something, because I think it's so important to connect with what you're saying. The idea of that, they have trouble with. So what does trouble mean? I mean, there's two levels of trouble. One is remembering the different forms, and the other is, applying them, using them in different grammar structures.
Sure.
And it's not the same thing, obviously. So my song, the purpose of it is not how to use them. It's more getting familiar with the forms, so that when you use them and you're building on your grammar, you don't have to stop and think about the forms. So it's a good analogy is with multiplication. So the multiplication table, the whole idea of repeating that, and sometimes with songs, right, is so that you don't have to stop when you're doing higher math and think, what is 9 times 7?
Right,
So that's really
absolutely,
the point of the song, and why it's really just about the repetition of the 3
Mm-hmm.
forms, so that at least that part is automatized, so you're not stopping to think about that when you're learning present perfect, or you're learning passives, or whatever else you're trying to do. So yeah, I just wanted to say that because
it's a very important thing to know, actually, because like you said, when people are making like a present perfect sentence, they need the past participle and they think, oh shit, what's that?
Right.
So yeah, it's very important.
It's like doing a math problem and having to stop and count on your fingers instead of knowing.
Exactly. Yeah, the analogy you used was very good, actually, because when I think about that, if someone says to me 9 times 3, I don't do the calculation. I just know that already because I've memorized that when I was a child. It's 27, in case anyone knows. I know my maths.
Exactly. And not to take this too far, but this is like my favorite topic in the world right now. But just one more thing about that, which is that if somebody asked you, why is it 27, you could explain, but that's not going to help you.
Sure, absolutely.
At this point. So that's the whole thing with irregular verbs or any, collocation of words that go together, is that it's not about stopping to just think about why. It's about using it then to do more with the language.
Absolutely.
And that's what fluency is. It's not looking under the microscope at the language. It's just being able to use it. So yeah, stick, stuck, stuck. It goes like this.
Let's go.
Yeah. The microphone I taken. You shake, shook, shaken. Wake, woke into the style I'm creating. Think, thought. Seek, sought, listen to the lesson that I teach, taught, don't sleep, slept, I creep, crept, I sneak, snuck up, you leap, leapt, I keep, kept, having fun, I'm never beaten, I win, won, do, did, done, begin, begun, shoot, shot, no, I don't own a gun, I lead, led, so I can feed, fed, the knowledge you need, straight to your head, when I bring, brought it, you catch, caught it, sit back, relax, don't fight, fought it. That's the first verse, and there are 4.
Absolutely fantastic. You've also got some really difficult verbs in there that are not so common, so they're actually really good to remember. I think you had creep, crept, seek, sought.
Yeah. I put a few in there. The song is, basically high frequency verbs, so I don't have, weave, woven or something in there. So it's true, leap, leapt is not such a common one, but most of them are very common. And I'm not sure when, but I'll have a stick, stuck part 2 at some point with all the rest of the. I've got another one. It's not quite finished. I wrote the first one 10 years ago. So
okay,
but it's almost time for a part 2 with some additional verbs.
Well, the thing about music, if it stands the test of time, then there's no need for another one. All the great albums, like the Beatles. I still listen to the Beatles now.
That's right. But there are I get messages all the time. What about the other verbs you didn't put in there? So
I can imagine.
Do another one.
And another thing people have difficulty with is phrasal verbs, and I know you have a song for that as well.
I've got a bunch of phrasal verb songs actually, but the most popular ones I have, one's called "Turn It On," and that's a practice with the most common kind of physical phrasal verbs: turn it on, turn it off, take it on, take it off, put it on, put it in, take it out. So there's that one, and then I have one called "That's What's Up," which I can do a little bit for you now if you like.
Oh, absolutely, of course.
And that's phrasal verbs with up. So it goes like this. Open up your eyes, it's time to wake up. Sit up in your chair, better yet stand up. Get up, jump up, and your hands put them up. Raise them up and hold them up. And the volume, you gotta turn it up. Everybody showing up, psyched up. Come up to the front, move up in the crowd. Don't give up now, keep it up, keep it loud.
Fantastic. I was thinking maybe I should do like a hip hop beat. I'm not very good at this. Like,
yeah, you can beatbox for me if you want, man.
Well, maybe next time we speak.
Next time.
I'll learn some beatboxing, and then we can do that.
If possible, I finished a song recently. I'm really proud of.
Absolutely! Please share it with us.
I've been working on it for a little bit here and there for a while because it's a song that includes all of the verb tenses, starting with present simple to future perfect continuous.
Fantastic.
And it's a story, and so it goes all present time, past time, future time.
I'm very excited to hear it.
It's a story too, so it's
Okay.
all in context. So it's different from stick, stuck, stuck. So I'll just do the first verse, which is the present simple, and then
Okay.
it goes into present continuous. But that video is going to be up pretty soon.
Okay.
But so for your listeners, just you'll hear in this first part present simple to talk about routines and habits, not what I'm doing now, right? But what I do
Sure.
usually every day. So it goes like this. I wake up early in the morning, every day it's the same. I often feel tired, but I rarely complain. At times I get stressed, but I stay on my game. I never give up because success is my aim. I wash my face and brush my teeth. I make the bed and get dressed. It doesn't matter what the day brings. You always have to do your best. Stay true to yourself. Don't be fake. Stick with it. Keep your head up. You've got what it takes. And then it goes from there to what I'm doing now. And then it goes into present
Fantastic.
perfect, past, and then all the future.
And how long does it take you to write one of these songs, just out of interest? Imagine it's a long process.
I get that question a lot, and as you might imagine, or maybe you don't, but most people who write have the same experience where I'm working on several things at once in different stages.
Okay.
So the only way I could really explain how long it takes to write a song is if I'm commissioned to write something. So sometimes I write for Oxford University Press. Sometimes I write for a publisher in France called Édition Didier. And so they'll say, okay, we need this song for, with this vocabulary or this grammar structure by this time or something. And then I can kind of think about how long it takes. But, the different stages are, also include, some songs I have that I finished, but I don't have the music for yet, or I have the music, but I don't have the song, because I do both music and the lyrics. But I would, in a song like that, it's impossible to tell you because I've been working on it, here and there for a few years.
Right.
But I would say if you said to me, Martin, if you said, okay, could you make a song about, countable, uncountable nouns or something, it would probably, to get the lyrics the way I want it, it would probably take me over a few days, a total of maybe like 3 hours, 4 hours, but not sitting down at once to write it.
Sure, yeah, because imagine you have to think about it, the creativity. Anyway, I'm a big fan of your work. It's absolutely fantastic. Keep up the good work. But for everyone that wants to find out more about you, where can they go?
Yeah, so the easiest thing is if you just remember my name, Fluency MC, and put it in the search like Google, because what will come up is my website, fluencymc.com, which is also easy to remember. So it's just about my name.com, or YouTube, Facebook. I'm very active. I'm more active in social media with students and teachers than I am, through my website. But my website also, check it out. It can lead you to all those other places. And you can email me through my site if you have a question or comment. So fluencymc.com, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Fluency MC.
Perfect. Thank you. I will have links to all of this on the show notes, everyone. But
Beautiful.
Thanks again for your time, Mr. Fluency MC. It's been fun, absolutely fantastic talking to you.
Same here, man. Thanks a lot for the chance to meet you and your listeners.
No problem. Thanks for coming on. I'll hopefully see you soon.
I hope so.
Okay.
Take care. All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so that was me speaking to Mr. Fluency MC. Make sure you go to YouTube, find his songs there, go to the website and have a look at his weekly English workout program. I will have all of the links to this in the show notes on rockandrollenglish.com. So go there before the weekend, so it's still working. And I would just like to say again how brilliant I think Fluency MC is, and the thing that he mentioned about the times tables, how we just learn that and we know that and we use that, I think is extremely useful for language learning, because it's exactly like he said. Don't always worry about how. Many people always ask me, why is this structure like this? Why is this structure like this? Learn it for what it is. As he said, fluency is not knowing why, but it's knowing how to do it. So just do it. Anyway, I will stop talking now, and I will see you on Monday. Have a good weekend, and just keep on rocking, people.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.